Hi there. So if you've got some jelly prints and you're looking for an idea on how to collage with them, I just made a collage out of prints I used in my last video, and I'm kind of curious about your response to it because my jury is out. But I made this collage, which I'm going to quickly show you, just right here, and it is based on a grid system. And there are parts of it that I like a great deal and other parts that I'd like to hear your comments on. So if that interests you, let's come over here. We'll make a collage. See ya. Okay guys, this is impromptu because I just posted my other video yesterday and it's too soon for another. But I've got this urge to create this collage and have for several days. And I'm going to do it and pretend I'm recording, which I actually am, but pretend I'm just recording it for posterity, okay? So what these papers are, these are papers that were left over from this printing session the other day when I was working in a grid collage. So these are papers that are left over from that session, but I was looking for stuff in my stash and I found this, which is a National Geographic page textured with Citrosolve, and I learned this process from Froyle Davies, who, Froyle, I just noticed you in my subscribers, and I am honored. I'm completely honored to have you here because, just as an aside, you're the one that taught me to print. You taught me to be courageous, and you also got me to fall in love with purple and magenta, because I didn't care for those colors at all until I met you. Anyhow, she was the motivation, you were the motivation to create these Citrosolve National Geographic pages, and I have a bunch of them. So I don't know where this is going to go, but the only way I'm going to find out, matte gel medium, and my favorite junky paintbrush, which you can restore from death if you turn yours into a stick. Put it in Murphy's oil soap. Somebody in my comments told me about that, and it is magic. Gel medium, favorite paintbrush, and a paper cutter. I am going to just go silent so that I can just do this, because if you weren't here, I wouldn't be talking. So I'm gonna pretend you're not here. Okay. I'm just going to glue it down. As you can see, it will take forever if I don't just commit and put something down and then start responding to what I've done. So this is going down, and this is a very thin magazine page. So one of the things that I've learned over repetition is that if I get bubbles in my paper, I can cut them and add some glue. But sometimes when I don't bother, they dry and it sucks it down. So the story that I want to tell you guys, I'll try to make it short, but you know, if you're new, and most of the people that come to my videos are new, but there's quite a large group of people that keep coming back and message me on my website, where are you? Why haven't we heard from you? This is at the beginning of March. I was at a local restaurant with some friends, and this group of women, yeah, these girls know each other from high school. So I'm part of the group by their grace, and they've all known each other, and you know, they're all part of the same social group since they were kids. We were at a restaurant having dinner, and one of my friends is getting ready to have open heart surgery to put a new valve into her beautiful heart so that it will stay the course. And she was talking with humor, not graphically, but she was talking about the different ways that they that they permeate your body to place this thing to access your heart. And I didn't think I was getting grossed out, but all of a sudden I started feeling really bad, like one end or the other was going to go. And I tried to make my way to the ladies' room, and I made it as far as the waiting area for the restaurant before I passed out cold on the bench. And when I came to, oh, it was so much drama. It was so much drama, guys. When I came to, the waitress and the hostess were standing over me, looking stricken, yelling, "Somebody call an ambulance." And I'm like, no, don't call an ambulance. Because I am a pain in the ass when it comes to doctors. I drive everybody in my life completely crazy, but it's just the way it is, and so it's just too bad. So I would not allow them to call an ambulance, and they were very distressed by it. And what I asked them to do is, could you please just go tell my friends? I'm sure they're wondering what became of me. Let them know that I'm okay, and I'm over here in the waiting area if they're concerned about me. And of course they all come running over, and I'm laying there looking like death because I felt like it. And they are trying to negotiate getting me to the hospital, and I am having absolutely none of it. My attitude about hospitals is, if I'm gonna die, and we all are going to, I found that out, it's a real thing. If I'm going to die, I'm going to die at home. I am not dying in a hospital hooked up to machines. And I didn't think I was going to die anyways. It felt like I was going to be fine. So to shorten this story, because it lasted until 2 o'clock in the morning, I ended up, my friend Kathy, bless her heart, honored my wishes and was going to drive me home. And everybody was pretty upset with me because, and I agree, I put her in a situation to, this has got paint on the back of it, so it's not going to stick unless I get serious about more glue. Anyway, so while we were driving home, it occurred to me that I might actually die, and if I died, I was going to do it in my friend Kathy's car, which is, it's just not something that you do to one of your friends. So I said to her, and I'm barely conscious, you need to know that I am going in and out of consciousness. I am passing out over and over again. And so let me just drop this word so that you guys don't worry about me. I'm not ill. Vasovagal, vasovascular system, vagal nerve. So there are people who faint at the sight of blood. I'm one of them. You do not, heaven forbid should there be an emergency and I'm the only person there to help, because everybody's going to die. Because I actually have had this kind of an episode. I didn't realize it. It took hindsight, took me a couple of days to put this whole thing together. This is my 5th time that I've scared the crap out of a bunch of people, including myself. The first time I was at a movie, I was on a date, and it was a bionic man who peeled back this slab of skin on his wrist to reveal blinking lights. And I started getting that cold, weird feeling. You might have known it. If you're either going to vomit or you're going to have diarrhea. You get that weird feeling that everything's not good. So I got that feeling, and I never made it to the ladies' room. I passed out in the lobby of the of the movie theater. And when I came to, there were police and freaking popcorn people standing over me, asking me, what did I take? What am I on? What kind of drugs am I on? And I'm like, I'm not on any kind of drugs. I just got grossed out by the movie. I'm fine. And, apparently I was gone for a long time, because when I got back to the seat, my date wanted to know where the hell I'd been. you can imagine how well I took that. Where the hell have I been? I've been gone for 45 minutes. Did it not occur to you that I never came back and you might want to come out and find out where I am? Okay, so movie theater, I give blood. I pass out over and over again. When they finally get me stabilized, they thank me for my blood and ask me never to come back again. I go to one of those body exhibits at the Museum of Science in Boston, and there's all these dead bodies posed, and their muscles and all of their stuff was showing. Halfway through the exhibit, I get that feeling again, and I leave, and my boyfriend comes out and finds me passed out in the hallway. My husband was cutting up a cabinet with a Sawzall and got a piece of a nail stuck in the whites of his eyes, and he asked me to oh my God. He asked me if I would please go to the medicine cabinet and get a pair of tweezers and pick the nail out of his eye. Yeah, no. Yeah, I'm passed out. I'm freaking passed out on the living room floor. This is really helping my spirits. I was passed out on the living room floor, and that was... So I cannot be counted on an emergency, but I did not put all of these episodes together. I did not. I just put it together in hindsight when I was on the couch after my episode. So the short story is, wait a minute. They brought me to the emergency room because while I was in the car, you know, it did occur to me that I might actually die, which would be a horrible thing to do to my friend Kathy because she's a good gal, and that would traumatize her, and it would make shit, Kathy. It would make her feel different about her car, you know. So it would, you know, and she loves her new car. So yeah, so I go to the hospital, and you know, they don't know what's going on with me, and the nurse wants to know what was happening prior to, you know, my having this big dramatic entrance. And I told her the story, and she was the one that said vasovagal. And after doing an EKG and taking blood and doing all those things that they do to, you know, to make sure that you aren't actually dying, they parked me in the, I call it the parking garage, this freezing room filled with ill people. They parked me out there and left me there, and pretty much forgot about me. It was a long night. And because the cure for vasovagal is laying down with your legs up, I was not... I kept having these episodes one after another for hours. And finally, I stabilized at some point. I was actually talking about simulation theory, and my friend Kathy said, you need to... I am so entertained by this after the fact. She said, you need to stop talking about that. People are not going to understand. They're going to think you're crazy. You need to stop talking about this world not being real. Because it's not, guys. This is a big movie. We're all in a big movie. This is the Truman Show. Finally, I decide, after being left there for hours and that the waiting room is almost completely empty, that I'm in no danger. You know, I've diagnosed myself, and they've diagnosed me because they triage you. They bring you in. If you're in danger, you get in the front of the line, and if you're not, you park out there until either you die of hypothermia or you give up and go home, which is what I did. The reason I'm telling you this story while I'm making this collage, which is making me very happy right now, the reason I'm telling you this story is because you guys are part of it. So when Kathy got me to the hospital, and they were, you know, the nurses were coming out, and, you know, I told them I thought I was, I think I'm having a heart attack, I think I'm dying, you know, and I'm laying there, and I literally, I do actually think I'm dying, but I did a little check-in with myself, and it was kind of like, I was wondering, like, if I am dying, you know, and I'm not afraid of death. I don't know why, but I'm not. But if I am actually dying, how do I feel about that? And I did a little quiet introspection, and I realized I didn't really mind it at all. I mean, I wasn't concerned about dying. I wasn't afraid. But I'll tell you what I was what I was afraid of is bailing on you guys, because one of the things I kept saying when I was delirious is, not now. I'm really having fun. I'm really having a good time. Why not in 2020 when I hated my life? Why not? Why not? Why not now? And so Kathy kept on saying, I was saying, I have shit to do. I have shit to do. So when I'm in triage, I am trying to get anyone to write down my email login and my password to YouTube so somebody can go online and tell you guys, I didn't bail on you. I'm dead. And nobody, they wouldn't frickin' take me seriously. And I was colossally annoyed by that. I wanted to be taken seriously because I was serious about it. I felt like if I'm going to die, these people need to know. I didn't just, decide it's too much work. I didn't decide it was too much work and just bail on you guys. So they never did write down my password. It was, they weren't having, they weren't going to work with me. And I think by then they'd already figured out that I wasn't actually going to die, and they thought I was just being dramatic. So that's the story about you guys and what you have brought to my life. You have given. It's not that I didn't have meaning before, but I really look forward to getting up and figuring out what I'm going to do. What am I going to do? What am I going to talk about? Not so much talk about, because that's like a natural thing. But what am I going to, record? What am I interested in recording? And the thought of my being dead now, when I'm having so much fun and I'm making art, and I look forward to just about every day. I didn't want to die because of my YouTube people. So you mean a lot to me. Vasovagal, guys. I'm not going to die. At least not now. I mean, I am going to die, but apparently not today. And I'll tell you what, I made sure that the password and how to get on YouTube, I have already spoken to my people and saying, if something ever happens to me, you must go online and tell the people that follow me that I have I have given up the ghost, and I will not be making any more art videos. What I'm thinking about, how I'm viewing this right now, is that I'm making a background. And I think I want to integrate that. That just keeps coming back. I want to integrate that into my background. I just found this piece, and I'm cutting it without thinking, because my thinking brain is an unreliable guide. What am I going to do with this thing? I don't know. I know people get very nervous when I leave these big white blobs there, but I did it, and I don't know why, but I like it. Yeah, I changed my mind on this. Look at what I have, guys. I made one of these on camera the other day. These are white paint with clear botanicals on them. Yeah, white. Do this, guys. Get those weeds out of your yard. And do real simple stuff like this, which overlays, like that one, which overlays nicely. That's just, this is a piece of, this is a branch of pine with the needles that all fell off. That's actually pretty cool. Hello everyone, it's a brand new day. It's a brand new day, and I can still not pair my microphone to this phone, this new iPhone. So I'm just going to keep going and hope that I stay close enough to the mic so that you can hear me, which makes me say, let me slide a little ways over here. So this got a chance to dry last night, And sometimes when they're dry, I get a new perspective. Today's not the day. I had this big idea. I think I told you. It's buried. I was going to put this big black botanical there. That is not going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen, but I do know I'm getting ready to do something that I wasn't expecting. Not to tell you, while I was lying in bed last night, I kept thinking about this idea that I wanted to do for an overlay on this. I don't know if it's going to work, but I'm going to look into it. Buried down behind here is this group of see-through deli paper prints that are done with white paint. And I kept seeing this idea in my mind of these small 3, 6, 9, maybe 12 small squares as an overlay on this. Well, we'll see. You'll be able to tell because I'll do it. But in the meantime, I'm just going to dub around here and see if I can keep this video under a half an hour, because I personally think that's a good length of time. But we'll see. Something is going on with me in this piece. And it could be because I haven't addressed this big white frame yet, which I know I can with pen work. And I know that if I cover what I've done with this color, it will give me a very monochromatic background, but that I like. So something might happen here. So this is voiceover Cherie jumping in to explain why I'm doing this fast thing. Because there's a bunch of decisions that I end up editing out of respect for your time, but there's a lot of information that gets edited out as well. So I want you to see, especially if you're new at collage and you think it looks like magic, it's not magic, it's torture. It is one decision after another. Sometimes the right decision, sometimes the wrong decision. You're going to see a lot of both in the making of this collage. But we'll go fast so that you can see, again, what goes into it, but you don't have to put up with every single moment of it. So this is where I get the big idea to start testing that grid concept that I mentioned early on, these overlays. And I've cut out this little window, a 2-inch square window, so that I can take a look at the papers that are on my desk and see if any of them are going to end up on this collage. I don't know if this is a good idea or a bad idea, but I'm going with it. And you'll have to tell me if you think what I came up with was success or not. I have mixed feelings about it. And just so you know, this thing is sped up 8 times. So look how slowly everything is going. I have moved these little grid things from here to there, from there to here, over and over again. Yeah, it's a process, guys. Okay, so I'm definitely inside my head, as you can probably see. I have been trying to draw out a grid so that I would know where to place these things, because being exact for some reason seems important, but you know what? It is not. And I have chosen the stickiest tape on the planet to mark these spots, which is where a line should go, but I don't want a line. So you know what I'm going to have to do? All right, I'm just going to have to do this. I'm going dark again because I got to figure it out. Okay, so I'm not in love with what I'm looking at right now. I can't help think that it might benefit from some black line work. So I'm going to let this dry for a while. I'm going to go make myself a cup of tea, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to tackle this thing. It's sunny. I'll stick it in the window. Half a cup of tea. BRB. So when I stand up on my stepladder and look inside my phone that's recording, I can see the problems with this better than I can when I'm watching it. So this reads disruptive. It's disruptive. It doesn't play well, but that, I've been carrying this little piece of gold around forever. I've got little pieces of it that I just stuck on here, just little slabs of it. That already, because I know it's going to go pretty clear when I lay it down. I'm just going to do it. And then I'm going to draw on this little guy with black and superimpose that over the thing. The sun is starting to go down on the back and the front side of my house, which means I'm getting it right in the window. And I'd like to post this video while there's daylight. Well, you guys probably don't know this, but posting a video, that is a project. I had never done it. I'd never made a single video in my life. I had no idea how it worked. I still don't know how it works, but I know how to. I'm like a monkey, I can be trained. But in terms of understanding the stuff behind it, I don't understand it. So I like that better. And let's see if it dries a little bit clearer. I don't think it will. So I was talking about YouTube. So I know enough about recording because I've had a cell phone for a long time, and you know, we're all amateur photographers now. But I don't know what's happening on the back end. So here I am happily making these videos and sending them to everybody and putting them on the internet. And then I come to the brick wall called memory on my computer, which it doesn't really warn you unless you're savvy and you're paying attention. It doesn't warn you that you're getting ready to crash. It just crashes. And even while it's crashed, you don't know it's crashed. You're just zooming along, making art, talking your freaking head off, and then you realize. So I don't know if I'm gonna like this. This looks very, I don't know, we'll see. Because I really like that, but that has disappeared. I don't like it. I think it makes it look, I don't know, kind of cartoonish, because you really can't do anything better with. So maybe what I'll do with this, rather than drawing there, is I'll fix up some areas, this area where I'd like to do a little bit of work on, to do something with that line there. So I'm going to do that. I'll go quiet while I'm doing it so I can think the process through, and my brother will play music for you. Okay, I think I'm done. I may not be done forever, but I'm done for now. Just a quick critique. Pretty much all the drawing I've done on here I wish I hadn't done, but I'm glad I did it because I wouldn't know not to do it unless I did it. So I always learn something. So so thank you guys. I'm done with this collage. Thank you for staying here and watching it with me. If you're new here, thank you for staying to the end. If you're not new here, thank you for staying at the end. And that's the piece that I made. How about if I just commit and put a signature on it and see if it'll let me. Oh, it's going to let me write right there. I'm Cherie Burlington. I'm an artist, an Erin, an angel mom, and I appreciate your hanging out with me today while I made art. And I look forward to making more art with you again soon. Thanks. Goodbye.